Hello everyone, my name's Alex and I'm a physio from Physio Function and I'm going to be taking this level 3 different strokes exercise class today. So for those of you who are new to this, level 3 classes are designed for individuals who have reasonably good movement in their affected leg but may have some restricted movement in their affected arm. The class is going to be a combination of seated and standing exercises. So individuals should be able to stand safely and complete exercises in standing safely, but may need a support. So make sure that you have a support nearby that is sturdy. So either a kitchen bench, a table, a sturdy upright chair. And be aware that it is a requirement that you have somebody there to supervise you with standing exercises as needed for safety. Okay, so this is going to be week 2 of our foot drop series. So I decided after last week and just being reminded of how many things there are to go through and exercises that can be beneficial for foot drop, they'd be really useful to do a series. So I'm going to be doing a part 2 today, and then I will do a part 3 next week as well. So you'll have lots of information and exercises to take away with you that could be useful for your foot drop. Remember as well that with exercises like this, some of them may be more beneficial than others for you. Everybody is unique, everybody's bodies are different, and the way that your stroke has affected you will be different to the next person. So if you find one exercise more beneficial than another, then utilize that as part of your ongoing therapy. Okay, so for this class, I will ask you to have a towel. So this could be, you'll want a long towel, so something we can use for stretching, or you could alternatively, like myself, use a dressing gown cord. And then I will also get you to grab a small towel as well, so a hand towel or something that we'll be using for the exercises. So we will start firstly by doing just a general warm-up, and then we will go on to some specific exercises designed to firstly get our foot moving and our lower leg moving. And we will also then go into some activation exercises for the foot and the ankle. And then we will go into some standing exercises, because although foot drop does affect your foot, the way that the rest of your leg moves and the strength of the rest of your leg will directly influence how your foot is. So it's really important that although we can give some exercises for your foot specifically, that we also look at the rest of the body, because that will directly influence how your foot moves. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start by doing some marching on the spot in sitting. So we really think about getting things moving, getting that heart rate up a little bit, sitting nice and tall in your chair. Really nice. So if this is the first bit of movement you're doing today, you might need to start a bit slower and then gradually increase your pace. Swing those arms, very nice and tall. And lift those knees, march those feet. Lovely, and let's go into some heel taps forward now, alternating. Lovely. You've got a big lift of the knee. Good. Lovely, guys. Big taps, remember moving at your own pace. Get some arm swings involved as well. Let's do some side taps. Big steps out to the side, alternating. Again, moving at your own pace. You can add some reaches if you want to. Make it a bit more full body. Good. Lovely. Let's do some some cross-body reaching. So we're going to reach across our bodies here. So if you have limited movement in your affected arm, you could choose to just move as much as you have available to you. You could always hold your hands together and reach across your body. Really nice. Really think about rotating from that waist, using those tummy muscles. Let's try and reach a little bit higher this time. Think about reaching and lengthening to the opposite corners of the ceiling. Lovely. Good. And then how about low and opposite, so across each knee. Good. Nice. Really nice. And then stop there. Let's do some shoulder rolls backwards, one at a time. Get your arms involved. So you're doing a bit of a backward stroke or some 60s dance move. Good. Lovely. Wonderful. Okay, one more each side. And then we're going to go on to some leg stretches. So have one leg out in front of you, nice and straight. The other leg is bent. Sit tall and hinge forward at your hips to feel a stretch down the back of that hamstring. So that's the muscle at the back of your thigh. I'm going to get you to hold that there. So from the side, it would look like this. One leg is straight, one leg is bent, sitting tall, hinging forward from your hips. So your back is straight, your head is up, your chest is up. Feeling that gentle stretch down the back of your thigh. So it's really important that we maintain the length in these muscles. They tend to get quite tight in a lot of people. We're going to change sides. Left leg out straight, right leg bent, hands on the right knee, sit tall and hinge forward. Feel the stretch down the back of that thigh. So if we are specifically tight in one area of our leg, if we've got one area that's not, it's a bit weaker and not working as it should, then our leg is not going to be moving in the most efficient and correct way. And it has an effect on each component of your leg. So even if we are weak around our hip muscles up here, that can have a direct influence of how our foot is placed on the floor. So although we will be looking at exercises for foot drop, we will not solely be looking at the foot. We've got to think about looking at elsewhere, what's happening around the knee, what's happening around the hip, and come on, that's lovely. As that is going to have it, they're all connected. So our whole body is connected. So it's really important that we don't just look at one area, we have a look at what's going on at the other areas as well, because they all influence each other. So what we'll do though, so we're going to start looking at firstly some exercises specifically for your foot and your ankle and your lower leg, and then we're going to work into standing and putting them into some more generic lower limb body exercises which are going to have a positive effect for your foot drop as well. So firstly, what we'll do is we're going to take off our shoes and take off your ankle foot orthosis if you were wearing one. Okay, so we're going to do some stretching. I'll roll up there so you can see. That's it. So we're going to be doing some stretching for our calf muscles. So firstly, like we did last week, we're going to do a stretch for our calf. Now, what I can do as well is I'll show you this one in sitting, and then before we go into our standing exercises, I will show you a standing calf stretch version as well. But for the sake of the moment, so for our seated exercises, I'm going to show you the sitting version. So we did this last week. So use your either towel Or if you've got a strong TheraBand or a strong, it has to be quite a strong one though. So either sort of, I'd say like blue or black, or blue, green or black, something that's got a good pull to it. If it's too stretchy, it won't give you the right feeling of stretch. So, or you can use a, I've got a dressing gown cord. I went blank there. So I want you to wrap the dressing gown cord or hook it underneath the ball of your foot. You're going to sit towards the front of your chair. So I'm going to turn sideways so that I can show you. We're going to sit towards the front of the chair and we're going to have our legs straight. Now watch it doesn't lock, have it slightly soft. So you're wanting it to be straight but not locked back there, okay? Because we don't want to put unnecessary strain and pressure on the back of our knee. So straight but not locked, hooked around the ball of the foot. Now if you've got use of both your hands, you could hold in both your hands. Alternatively, you could hold it together or just with your unaffected hand. We're going to pull that dressing gown cord up towards us. You see that there, it's pulling my foot up until I feel a stretch in my calf muscle. So my gastroc muscle, or gastrocnemius, is the muscle that comes up here from the back of your ankle, that Achilles tendon, all the way up the back of that calf, makes up that big meaty bit at the back of your calf muscle there. And that can get tight in a lot of people. So we're pulling up there, keeping that leg straight and holding. So we're going to hold this one here for 30 seconds minimum. And then we're going to relax and we're going to repeat again. So it's always important to remember here as well, if you have spasticity in your calf muscles, so that's that stretch reflex, if you pull it, it tends to want to curl down and in, or if you get that bumping, pulsing of your foot, go slowly when you come into this stretch. Don't sort of just pull it back straight away. Okay, we're going to relax there. Give it a moment, and then we're going to go again, so pulling it up. It's, important that you go slowly, because if you move quickly into the stretch, it's just going to cause your foot to want to push back down against you. So nice and slow and steady here. Feel that stretch in that calf muscle. Lovely, going to hold for another 10 seconds, and then we're going to relax off. Good, relax off. Okay, so what I would do if you do struggle with a lot of tightness in your calf, making sure that you're doing stretches each day for these muscles, preferably a couple of times a day at least, will be really beneficial, okay? Because remember, like we said last week, if these muscles at the back are tight and you've got weakness at the front, these weak muscles are going to be constantly fighting against this strong resistance of the tight ones, okay? It makes it really hard. So it's really important for the balance at the ankle that we keep the length in these back muscles as much as possible to give the front muscles as much opportunity as you can to work, okay? So stretch out the calves. So what I would recommend, if you're going to be doing your stretches for your calves each day, holding for a minimum of 30 seconds each repetition, and try and accumulate 90 seconds, not 90 minutes, 90 seconds to 2 minutes ago. So that could be 3 or 4 repetitions of 30 seconds, or if you want, you could just hold it for the 90 seconds to 2 minutes in one go. So I will show you another standing stretch for this afterwards as well. But as well as we've got another muscle, okay, so we've got that big muscle here that makes up that meaty part of your calf, okay, your gastrocnemius, or gastroc, some people call them. And then we have another muscle which is just a bit deeper, or it sort of sits a bit lower. You can feel that sort of at the side here. Again, tends to be quite tight in a lot of people. If you find your Achilles tendon, so that ropey bit at the back of your ankle just above, if you feel sort of either side above that, there's another muscle sitting underneath, okay? And that's called the Soleus muscle. So this muscle is another really important one, and again, gets quite stuck in a lot of people. And the way that we stretch this muscle out, okay, is by having the knee bent. Okay, so this muscle, we want to bend the knee And then we want to try and stretch here. So by sliding your foot back behind you as far as comfortable, and then bending that knee, you might feel the stretch down here a bit closer. So here we are stretching the soleus muscle. So while it's important to stretch your calf muscles with your knee straight, it's also important to stretch this one here with your knee bent. So it's stretching two different parts of your calf muscle. So again, sliding it back, you can put some pressure down through that knee, or through that thigh rather, to feel that stretch down closer to your calf muscle, or to your ankle, sorry. Good, okay, we're going to rest off there. We're going to do one more. Okay, we're going to lean down, hold that there. Feel that stretch down to your calf. Now, if you're feeling a lot of pinching across the front of your ankle, maybe ease off it just a little bit, because it could just be that what we don't want to do is cause pinching and irritation of the muscles at the front here. Lovely. Keep it there. We're going to hold it for another 5 seconds. And relax. Lovely. Okay. So there are 2 stretches that you can do in sitting for your calf muscles. Remember, like we did last week as well, we did some stretching for the muscles at the front here. So by pulling that, pointing those toes and feeling that stretch down the front. Now, another thing we want to make sure that we're stretching, okay, in addition to these muscles at the back here, are our toes, okay? So what can happen as well with our toes is that they can, well, some people, they can work overtime and they tend to grip to the floor in that sort of bent position. But as well, if you do suffer with tightness and spasticity in your calf, you might find that they're getting quite tight and stuck. So it's really important as well for our foot and ankle to function properly that we have the right mobility in our toes. Okay, so we're going to do a stretch for our toes here as well. Okay, so our toes, so we've got little tendons and things that happen in our toes, and we've got what we call the plantar fascia in the bottom of your foot as well. So that's a big, that sort of like ropey band of tissue, or ropey bit of tissue on the bottom of your foot. So we're going to be doing something to stretch out those toes. So this is where I want you to grab your towel. So with your towel, I want you to fold or roll it up. So you can halve it, fold it up, so it's in like a little rectangle. And then we're going to pop this one underneath our foot and underneath our toes. Okay, so what I want you to really do here as well is to try and spread those toes as much as you can. So the towel is going just underneath those toes, so just on the ball of the foot, so it's sitting the toes into a little bit of extension, so a little bit upwards. Again, you might need to help position the toes, especially if they're curling down, so just holding underneath them, trying to lift and get that towel in place. Okay, so again here, what you could do is slide that towel back a little bit to increase that stretch, and hold that there. Try and get in, if you can, gently spreading your toes. And you're just wanting to get them so, like I said, they're not curling down, so they're getting that little bit of extension. So you can have a work there and just sort of have a little go, have a little wiggle, have a little play around to try and see if you can get a gentle stretch through those toes there. So with our toes like this, we're actually going to go into our first exercise. So we're going to be doing a heel raise, but with our toes on this towel. So it's really important when we are doing our calf raises, although this is working the muscles at the back here, again, it's really important for working all those intricate little muscles in your ankle as well, working on your balance. And when we're walking, if we don't have the proper toe up, the proper extension, then it'll affect the rest of our walking pattern as well. So again, making sure that we've got the toes raised onto that towel. So like I said, just have the toes on there. we're going to go into some calf raises. So this is going to be working on activating the muscles in our calf, but then also working on that stretching and mobility of those toes, the bottom of your foot. Okay, so you could, if you want to, have it under both of your feet, because it might be that both of your toes are a little bit tight. So you could grab 2 towels and have them under each foot, but for the sake of today, I'm just going to have mine under 1 foot, so you could just work it on your affected side. Lovely, so roll that towel under there. We're going to be pushing down and up. So we're really working on that calf raise. So you might feel a bit of a stretch in those toes, but hopefully as well should be feeling some nice activation of those calf muscles. Because as well, when we're doing our balancing, we want to have our toes onto the ground. We want to have them working to help with our balance. Okay, toes are really important for helping with balance. So it's important that we have the mobility in them so they can spread and do their job properly. Good. So really pushing down, raising up with those toes raised on that towel. That might be, if these are quite tight for you, then you only have the towel sort of marginally lifted initially, and then you can work into increasing it down the line as your toes get a bit more mobile. Lovely. Let's do 2 more calf raises here. Good. And rest. So again, it's a lovely activation and mobility exercise. And then have a go at doing it afterwards as well. After you've done that mobility with your toes, have a go doing it on the ground and see how it feels. Does it feel any different to before you did it? Do you feel like you're getting a bit more grounding through those toes to the base of your foot? Does it feel different to the other side? So, great exercise to start with. Now, the next one we're going to do is for the muscles at the front here. So, we are going to be doing that dorsiflexion, so that's that toe lifting motion. So what we want to do here is I want you to help, if you don't have much movement in your foot, we're going to be using our other foot to help lift it up. We're then going to move that foot out and try and really control the motion back down. So using your unaffected foot underneath to help up, you're trying to join it as much as you can and then control it down. Okay, so we're going to work here. So we're going to lift up, helping. Hold it if you can and slowly control it back down. If it's tricky with your other foot, you could do it with your towel loop. Okay, we could gently help it up. Again, you're doing as much as you can and then loosening to really control back down. Okay, lifting, helping only as you need to, slack, control back down. Whoops. Okay, get that loop again, lifting up, helping it, lose it, hold if you can, control back down. Good, or remember we're here, so helping it up, really thinking about pulling up those toes, pulling up that foot, and then slowly controlling back down. Good, and again, lift, slowly lower. Good, and again, let's lift, hold, slowly lower. Good, and again, lift, hold, slowly lower. Lovely, let's do another 5 here. Lift, hold, slowly lower. Really slowing the way down. See if you can count to 3. So we lift, we're going to hold for a second. 1, 2, 3. Good. Lift, or remember, if you can lift without assistance, then do that. Slowly lower. 1, 2, 3. Good. Lift, hold. 1, 2, 3. Good. Let's do 2 more here. Lift and hold. 1, 2, 3. One more. Lift and hold. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Okay, next exercise in sitting. Okay, I never know where the time goes when we do these. They go so quickly. I think I just talk a lot. So, the next one we're going to do is we're going to do some isometrics. So that means some exercises where we're activating the muscles but without movement for the inner and outer part of our foot. So the muscles that move our foot in and outwards, okay? So as important as up and down is, we also have the ability to move our foot side to side. Again, helps with our balance. And also when we're walking, generally moving. So firstly, I want you to put your feet together, okay? Ankles together, at least ankles together, knees together if you can. And firstly, I want you to think about pushing your feet together, those inner borders of your feet together, holding there and then relaxing. So you're thinking about doing that movement inwards. So we're thinking about pushing our feet together, inner borders of the feet together, and relaxing. And again, let's push in. So pushing those 2 inner borders of the feet together and relax. Good. And again, push in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Keep those feet flat on the ground if you can. Push in, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. You might feel your inner thighs kicking in as well. Good. And again, push, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Okay, so you're pushing in, trying not to let your foot curl inwards though, keeping those feet flat. And again, push in, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Good. Let's do 2 more here. Push, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. One more. Push, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Lovely. We're then going to go on to the muscles that turn your foot outwards. So this generally tends to be the one that's a lot weaker in people. So if you can, you're going to cross your legs the other way around. So have it so that you've got your unaffected leg crossing behind your affected leg. I want you to then think about pushing the outer borders of your feet together, so really focusing on that affected side and then relaxing. So you're trying to do that movement in your foot. You're trying to bring the outer border upwards. Okay? So again, you're going to push out, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Alternatively, if that's a bit tricky, you could have your assistant loop the dressing gown loop around, okay, so that it's coming inwards here on your affected leg, or you could hold it there with your unaffected hand, and you're trying to push your foot outwards against that loop while stopping it, and then relax. So that's another way you can do it there. See you there properly. That's it. So you're trying to bring your foot outwards that way, and you're trying to stop it with the bend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Good. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. You should feel the muscles on the outside of that ankle and foot working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Good. So you're trying to move your foot, but you can't because you're resisting it, but that's still trying to activate and get those muscles to work. So you're just providing as much resistance as you need to try and prevent the movement. Good. So push again. 3, 4, 5, relax. Good. Let's do one more. Push, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Lovely. Okay. Did not realize the time. So pop your shoes back on. Pop your ankles or orthoses back on if you need to make your way safely into the kitchen. So if you've got an ankle foot orthosis, what you could always do is if you're able to stand safely without it on, then you could practice doing this exercise without it on. You just have to be really mindful of your foot position. And the main thing here is that if you are doing that and you need, like if you need your ankle foot orthosis safely to walk, then make sure you wear it for your walking, okay? Because safety is the main thing. And then you could always unstrap it for when you're standing, or alternatively, if you were able to make your way to your support, okay, either if you have a wheelchair, if you're going there in the wheelchair, then stand with it safely off and make these exercises a bit easier. But again, please be really mindful of your foot position. Your safety is the absolute main priority here. So, exercise in standing that we're going to do to, again, remember we've worked on activating those muscles in your foot, but what we want to also do is integrate and work the rest of our body as well. Because like I said, we can have great strength around our ankle, but if our knee and our hip aren't working properly, then that means that it's going to affect how our foot is anyway. So we need everything to be nice and strong and moving as efficiently as it can. So, standing in front of your support, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little heel raise. So like we did in that first exercise, and I want you to really think about where your toes are. What are your toes doing? Try and spread them onto the floor and push up through the balls of your feet. So really think about the big toe mound being in contact with the floor. We're going to lower and then we're going to do a little squat. Okay? We're going to do this 15 times. And then, or 10 to 15 times, and then we're going to finish. So please feel free, because I know there's a lot of information here, and we're definitely going to do a part 3 to this as well, because I just can't cover everything in one half an hour video. You could always go back and have a go at doing all these exercises again, or making a little circuit up of these exercises yourselves. Okay, so standing, feet hip width apart, weight equal through your feet. Let's push up, feel the balls of your feet on the floor, lower, squat, hips back, knees are over toes. Again, it's 1, up, and squat. 2, up, push, feel those calf muscles working, and squat. So we're working here on the strength of the muscles at the back, but also working out toe mobility. And then when we squat back, we're working on that length, aren't we, in that ankle, okay? That dorsiflexion, that toes coming upwards. Up and squat. That's 4, I think. I'm really bad at counting. Up, weight is equal, and squat. 5. Okay, we're going to do 10 more and then we're done. And squat. 6. Nice and controlled. 7. Weight is really equal through those feet. You're feeling where the weight is in your feet. 7. Pushing up equally. Balls of the feet are down. 8. If I've mucked up my counting, I do apologize. I'm terrible at it. 9. Good. 10. 5 to go. Really think about the movement here. Be mindful of symmetry, what each side is doing. Trying to keep, so we've got 4 to go, trying to keep the weight as symmetrical as you can, being really aware of where the weight is in your feet, what your ankles are doing, what your knees are doing, so making sure they're not knocking inwards. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Good. Okay. Well done. So I'm just going to show you a really quick stretch that we can do in standing for your calf muscles. So we've done this one before. So standing at the kitchen bench or the sturdy support, You're going to place, we're just going to do it for your affected side today, but please feel free to do it for your unaffected side also. Step your affected leg back, your unaffected leg forward. Okay, so what you do, I want you to bend that front knee, keeping that back leg straight. Both feet are facing forward, and you should feel the stretch in the back calf muscle. Again, hold this for a minimum of 30 seconds. And try and repeat it at least another 2 times. So 90 seconds in total. Okay, this is a great one. Again, you can use in the day. So you could do a combination of the sitting ones and the standing ones. So we're just going to hold this now for another 10 seconds or so. I've run quite over, so we're going to stop in a moment. Too many things we can do. Good, and then the one you can do for that soleus muscle, so that muscle down here a bit closer to your ankle. So remember, when we stretch this, our knee is bent. Have your feet a bit closer together this time, and then bend both knees. So almost think about sitting back into that back leg, and you can feel the stretch a bit closer to your ankle. So again, holding this one for a minimum of 30 seconds, repeating it another 2 times. So it can be really nice exercises to really stretch that ankle, keep it nice and mobile, and then give the muscles at the front every opportunity to work. So they're not constantly fighting against that tightness. Okay. Brilliant. So apologies I've run over, but thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found some useful information in today's class. Remember, the exercises, you may find some are more beneficial for you than others. So pick and choose ones that you find useful, and then you can just add them to your toolkit of things that you can do in the day to help you manage your foot drop, help you manage your ankle. Okay, so thanks for joining me. So remember, to get the most out of these classes, we'd recommend doing at least another 2 classes in your week, okay, to really try and get into that nice exercise routine of exercise, or at least doing 3 times a week exercise. Okay, but if you get more in, even better. So remember, if you've got any requests or you'd like to see anything, if you've got any comments or feedback, please feel free to leave them below, or alternatively send a message to the Different Strokes Charity Facebook group. Remember, there's loads of other videos on the Facebook group for Different Strokes and also on Different Strokes UK YouTube page, so check them out. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.